On 12th of June 2025, a routine flight from Ahmedabad to London took a tragic turn. Within seconds of takeoff, the aircraft lost both engines. By the time it slammed into a medical college hostel, 260 lives had been lost. This is the story behind the Ahmedabad plane crash, the investigation, the theories, the questions that remain. Let's start with what we know. Flight AI-171 was a Boeing 7878 Dreamliner operating from Ahmedabad Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport to London Gatwick. It took off on 12th of June 2025 at about 13:38 IST. On board, 230 passengers plus 12 crew members, through 242 souls. Tragically, only one person survived, a man named Vishwashkumar Ramesh. On the ground, 19 people lost their lives and many more were injured. The crash site. The aircraft struck the hostel building of BJ Medical College in Ahmedabad, damaging multiple buildings. This accident marked the first fatal crash involving a Boeing 787 since its introduction, and was one of the worst aviation disasters in India in recent years. Just seconds after takeoff, both engines lost thrust. The preliminary investigation by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, revealed that the fuel control switches, which regulate fuel flow to the engines, had moved from run to cutoff mode within a second of each other. In the cockpit voice recorder transcripts, one pilot asked, "Why did you cut off?" To which the other replied, "I didn't do it." After the switches moved, the engines lost power. The aircraft could not maintain altitude, and it descended rapidly, crashing into the medical college buildings. That's the skeletal timeline from the preliminary data. However, there are still major uncertainties. Given the limited data so far, experts and authorities have offered various theories and cautions. A. Pilot action versus mechanical, electrical fault. The fact that both switches moved in quick succession suggests something beyond a simple accidental toggle. Some aviation professionals caution not to jump to pilot error prematurely. The Federation of Indian Pilots has challenged the notion that pilots moved the switches intentionally, suggesting a possible electrical or software malfunction. B. Prior advisory and Boeing's role. In 2018, Boeing had issued a non-mandatory advisory warning about a potential issue with fuel control switch lock disengagement in some aircraft models. The preliminary AAIB report says that Air India had not acted on that advisory, but that the advisory itself was not binding. Critics argue that even if non-mandatory, airlines should have performed checks to preempt possible malfunction. C. Other systems and anomalies. Some data indicates the landing gear wasn't retracted, and the flaps remained in takeoff position, which may point to system anomalies. The exact cause of how the switches moved, physically by hand or via unintended system command, is still unknown. The AAIB is leading the formal investigation in India in collaboration with Boeing, GE, engine manufacturer, and possibly international agencies. The preliminary report was released in July 2025, about a month after the crash. But the final report, which may take up to 12 months, will carry more conclusive findings. Key items under scrutiny: who physically moved the switches, if indeed they were moved, whether there was an electrical fault or software glitch, whether Boeing or the airline had prior knowledge or warnings, any procedural or safety lapses in maintenance or oversight. Authorities have also ordered additional maintenance actions and inspections across the Boeing 787 fleet in India to avoid a repeat. The scale of loss is tremendous. Families shattered, lives ended too soon. The crash sparked anxiety, especially among residents living near airports, fearing for safety when planes fly overhead. The sole survivor, Vishwashkumar Ramesh, has become a focal figure called the Lucky Man, now receiving legal, medical, and emotional support. As with all aviation disasters, this tragedy forces us to reflect on a critical balance: the incredible complexity of modern aircraft and the tiny margins for error. We must wait for the final investigation, but meanwhile, we can demand transparency, accountability, and improvements to safety protocols. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss updates. In the comments, let me know which theory you think is most likely: pilot, mechanical fault, or something else, and what aspect you'd like me to dive deeper into when the full report comes out. My thoughts are with the victims and their families. Together, we hope that lessons are learned so such tragedies never repeat.